Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Chapandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namashreshtham Manamapi Shakti Putramatra Surupam Rupam Tasyagrajamurupurim Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vandeham Shri Guru Shriyatafara Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we asked how many people know Hindi, but we could have also asked how many people, I think majority also understand English without translation. What about that? Do we have our Anuvada here to say? Who doesn't understand English? But I don't know how to say it in Telugu, so we need someone to say it in Telugu. Presumably those who don't know English. So it's less than the Hindi. So what I suggest is that those who don't know English, they can go at the back and we'll have translation there for them in particular. Alright? How's that? So please announce that.
English వాడు తెలుగు అన్నవారు కావాల్సిన వెనక్కి అక్కడ తెలుగు అన్నవారు మీకు ఏర్పాటు చేస్తున్నారు మాత్రం.
Or the Bhimavaram devotees. They came from Bhimavaram. Yeah, and for ladies also separate translator. Maybe your wife. Anyway, Madhav Gopinath. More ladies. It is actually quite a few. So the subject matter is why only Bhakti Yoga. I'll let them settle down. In the meantime, we can have a little Bhakti Yoga practical session. Everyone please chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, and you have loans to pay, then you're already in a certain groove and it's difficult to change that. So, especially young people, well, of course, often it's their parents who, to a large extent, decide for them or try to push them in a certain way. You should try to be a doctor. If you can't get in the MBBS course, at least you should be an engineer or a chartered accountant or something more adventurous, maybe an airline pilot or an army officer. You should try and do something to make your life on a high level, a success. It's called a success. What is the best thing you can do with your life? I've heard that some parents, they say you don't need to bother with education. You just get into politics early, because with politics you don't need any qualification except how to lie and cheat and all these kinds of things. And so if you can start early, then you can get in and you can make plenty of money without having to study hard. I heard some parents are saying that. I don't know. Maybe some. So the idea is the parents want that their children will do the best that they can. And sometimes you hear that. That's a slogan in these personality development courses. You see some slogans. Be all that you can. Do the best that you can. But what is the best? Generally it's sort of that the best that we can do is to make a lot of money, become famous, or someone may not be so grossly materialistic and they might think, well, the best thing I can do is to be good. I can try and help others. Or someone may think, well, I can't be such a big person, but at least I can try to be a good husband and father, or a good mother and wife. And in this way people have different conceptions of how to best lead their life. So I was also thinking in my youth how I can best lead my life. But to understand how we can best lead our life, we should first understand what is the best thing in life. What is the best? Different people will say different things. Here in India, someone might say that the best thing you can do is to become as good a cricketer as Sachin Tendulkar was. Or outside of India they might say to be as good a footballer as Maradona was. Or someone else may say that to become as rich as Bill Clinton still is. Well, not Bill Clinton, was it? Bill Gates. Bill Gates, sorry. Bill Clinton's also rich, but not that rich. Or to be as powerful as Vladimir Putin. He's a very powerful person. Or Narendra Modi. They're very powerful, prominent. And Obama also, but he's on his way out now. So different people have different conceptions of what is the best thing you can do. Our proposition is to understand the best thing that you can do. First of all, we have to understand who we are. You may think, well, that's a funny thing to say. We all know who we are. Someone may think, well, my name is Srinivasa Lu, and I'm born in Telangana. Actually, it was Andhra Pradesh at the time, but we don't like to think of those horrible days when we were in that horrible state called Andhra Pradesh. And I've got my wife and 2 children, and car, not a 2 crore car, but at least it's not a 2-wheeler, so I'm not doing too bad. And I work in such and such, and this is me. But the shocking news is that whatever we think we are is in almost all cases all wrong. Well, what do you mean it's wrong? My name is Srinivasa Alu. I'm 35 years old. Definitely I am. You can see. I have my PAN card and my photo. Everything is there. See, certified by the government. No, it's wrong. 35 years old, then 45 years ago you were somewhere else. You were someone else. Not exactly someone else, but in another body. And after 45 years, most likely you'll be in another body. Actually, definitely you'll be in another body. Even if we take this body to be ourselves, then after 45 years, all the chemicals that are presently constitute your present body will change. According to some scientists, that all the chemicals in the body, within 7 years, they're all renewed. So whatever chemicals are in you now, there'll be a different set of chemicals. So if you think, this body is me, then after 7 years, you could say, well, now I have a new identity. Because all the chemicals have changed. But even if you're still alive in this body after 45 years, I don't expect to be alive that long in this body. Then we'll go somewhere else, and we'll get another body. And then we'll have another identity. This is an important fact to understand. When the body dies, we don't die because we are not the body. The body is temporary. I am eternal. It's not a very difficult thing to understand. I am not the body. The body is constituted of chemicals. I am not chemicals. I'm not carbon or hydrogen or oxygen or nitrogen or lead, which is a constituent of the body in modern life. We breathe in plenty of lead. Doesn't do the body much good, but anyway, it's in there. I am not these chemicals. I am not a bag of chemicals. I am the soul that gives life to the body. When the body dies, I do not die, but according to the laws of nature, we have to take another body. Now these laws of nature, there are so many laws of nature which scientists have discovered. They've discovered so many facets of material nature. How, for instance, just as an example, that germs cause disease. That was previously not known, that germs cause disease. So now, or is the cause of many diseases, not all diseases. So the germ theory of disease, that is a fact of nature which scientists have discovered. Then there are laws of physics. For instance, among the laws of thermodynamics, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. There are also laws of nature which we cannot measure with any machine or observe through any microscope or telescope. These are the subtle laws of karma, which dictate that for everything we do, there will be a reaction. If we perform a sinful activity, we will get a bad result. And if we perform a good activity, we will get a good result. It's not just by chance that someone is born in a rich family, good-looking, intelligent, and someone is born in a poor family, ugly, and with not much inherent intelligence. It's not just some accident of chemicals interacting with each other, but there are higher powers who oversee all these things. As described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Karmana Daiva Netrena Jantur Dehopapattaye. According to the karma, the activities one has performed, under the supervision, Daiva Netra, of higher powers, we get a new body. These are the subtle laws of nature. So then we should think we should do good things. Good things means giving charity to needy people. Here in this Sanskruti colony, there is a plan to enhance the Sanskruti by building a temple of Balaji. So that's also a pious activity that will give a good result. That means those who help to build a temple for Balaji, not that he needs a temple, he already has so many temples, especially in Tirumala, is very famous. And even that he doesn't need, because he is Venkateshwara, Vaikuntapati. So he's there in the spiritual world, but he manifests himself in this material world to accept the offerings of his devotees. So if we help in building this temple in any way, either by either financially or by helping to organize it in whatever way, we become free from sinful activities by doing that, and we become pious. So these are all good activities. And bad activities, there are so many also. Stealing, lying, cheating, and so on and so on. In the modern age, what was considered sinful previously is now considered normal. So many young boys and girls, they live away from their families, unmarried, and they engage in illicit sex. And then the girls have abortions. And these are all sinful activities, but nowadays people think that these are normal. But still there are sinful reactions for all this. Just because the Sanskruti, the culture has declined, and people think, well, it's okay, but people may think it's okay, but still it is sinful. It will produce a sinful result. The people don't know these things nowadays. They should know. They should be educated. There should be spiritual education. All the education is simply centered on how to get your degree and then become an IT professional or a doctor or a lawyer or something like this. But people are not taught even the basics, ABC of spiritual knowledge, to understand that we are eternal living beings. We are not the body. The body is temporary. If I perform good activities, I get a good future birth. If I perform sinful activities, I get a bad result, either in this life or in future lives. So, I'm supposed to be talking about why Bhakti Yoga. Well, I'll come to that. The point is that we should do the best thing we can. Now, even if we're very good, we build lots of Balaji temples, we don't lie, we don't cheat. Actually, it's very difficult in the modern world to go through life without lying or cheating. Because sometimes if you don't lie, then you know that someone's going to cheat you. If you tell them the truth, if you tell the truth, then people will take advantage of it. That is a symptom of Kali Yuga, which is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Jimma prayam vyavahara. In ordinary dealings there will be cheating. People just, in ordinary day-to-day affairs, people just cheat each other. Shartya mishram chaso hridam. And even among people who are supposed to be very good friends, there's also this cheating element. Someone can, if they get the opportunity, even someone trusts someone, oh, my good friend. But if the person can take advantage, they'll just cheat them like that. For instance, some years ago, there was a Pakistani joint family in England, and one of them won the lottery. A lot of money, £1 million, something like this. So in the joint family, you would think that, well, everyone shares everything, but the one who won it thought, forget it, it's my money, and he split off from the rest of the family. There was another case where there was a husband and wife, in England again. Husband and wife, and the wife discovered in her husband's pocket some lottery ticket. He had bought it and forgotten it, it seems, and she checked, and she saw it was the winning ticket, and she also, it was £1 million. She took it. She took the money and divorced her husband. Money is sweeter than honey. So people don't care. These are symptoms of Kali Yuga. They don't care for others. It's a very bad age. Now that's one reason to take up Bhakti Yoga. Because Bhakti Yoga, it counteracts the bad effects of Kali Yuga. Bhakti Yoga is best performed in this age by chanting the names of Krishna. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. Kalau Nas Cheva Nas Cheva Nas Cheva Gatiranyata. Those of you who are standing, please come and sit. There are seats available. If not, then some of our devotees can come and sit at the front and make seats available for the guests. There's already enough difficulty in life without getting worn out legs. Yeah, please come take a seat. So, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. In this Kali Yuga, there is no other way, no other way, no other way to attain the highest perfection than the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. So even just to save ourselves from the worst effects of Kali Yuga, we should chant the names of Krishna so that we don't become degraded. We all tend to become affected by the atmosphere that we're in. This is natural psychology, as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. Our desires develop according to our association. That's why we see this. There's one phenomena has been prominent in Bangalore for many years, and it's probably in Hyderabad also now, that children educated in small towns, people may come from, I don't know, Khammam or Adilabad or something, or some village, and then they get educated in the town, and then they get a job in the city. And in the city, among the young people, IT professionals, they're all drinking and smoking and having illicit sex. And these young people who would never have thought of doing such a thing before, because they were not in that company, now they mix with old people like that, and they also start to do that. They become degraded. So at least to save ourselves and our families from degrading into sinful life, we should take up this Hari Bhakti by chanting the holy names of Krishna. Sounds like an over-enthusiastic mosquito, but actually it's the spray for killing mosquitoes. So, yeah, better to be good. Definitely it's better to be good than to be bad. But in this world, even if we're so-called good, we have to be born again. We have to be born again and again and again, as long as we have material desires. So even being so-called good is not in our best interest. Our real best interest should be to understand that I am an eternal living being. I'm not born when the body is born. I existed before that. When the body dies, I continue to exist. So I'm eternal. What is my eternal position, so that I don't have to get born again and again and again? We should try to understand that. That means spiritual knowledge. People become very proud if they're good in some IT or something like this. They have no idea of spiritual knowledge, of who we actually are. So they don't know how to live their life in such a way that they can properly utilize it. They think, well, if I get a job and I earn money, that's it. That's all I have to do. But however much we earn, or however much we're respected in society, we have to die again and again. Someone becomes very prominent in human society, and they're much respected by others, but in course of time they'll be forgotten. Just like there's the Chief Minister of Telangana state. What's his name? I know AP is this Chandrababa Naidu. He came back again in AP. And in Telangana state, what's... Chandrasekhar Rao. Chandrasekhar Rao. Alright, so he's a very big man just now. But in course of time, he'll be forgotten. Just like this area was ruled for some hundreds of years by various nizams. Was it not? This area was under different Muslim rulers called nizams. Nizam, I guess, is the same as North India Nawab. Must be the same. So, can anyone say any of the names of the nizams who were ruling here previously? Does anyone know any of the names of any of them? No one. At the time, they must have been very big, very powerful. Everyone would know. Very rich. Whatever they say. Here, give this man one whole village. Someone else, chop off his head. Whatever they say. They're so powerful, but gone and forgotten. So this idea of being a big person, it's simply illusory. Just like on the streets at night, the dogs are barking. And one dog barks louder than the others. He's very respected by all the dogs. He's the biggest dog. Be careful of him. It's the same thing. I'm a big man. I show others. Same idea. Just humans are more sophisticated. The dog is running on 4 legs and the man is running on 4 wheels. Otherwise, what's the 2 crore car? Someone has a 2 crore. He can get a 2 lakh car, but he gets a true. Why get a 2 crore car? Just to show when he's driving along. He'll look to the side and say, "Ha, you have a 2 lakh car. I have a 2 crore car." Just to show he's superior. But he's not superior. He's a fool for trying to show himself to be superior. This is all foolishness. And it binds us in this material world. We have to suffer birth after birth after birth. So the best thing we can do is first of all understand who we are. We are not the body. We go from body to body. Why do we go from body to body? Due to material attachments. Well, how can we overcome that? It's very difficult to overcome material attachments. Because it is our nature as living beings to become attached to something. We have information from Bhagavad Gita, which we in the Western countries were kindly taught. The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita by our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. So he taught us that we should transfer our attachment from matter, material attachment, which binds us in this world. We should transfer that to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the spiritual world. And if we become attached to Krishna, then at the time of death we will remember Krishna and we will go to Krishna in the spiritual world. Antakale cha mameva smaran mukva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshaya. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, whoever leaves the body thinking of me alone, they attain me. Without doubt. Whatever we think of at the time of death, that shapes our next body. Yang yang vapi smaran bhavam tyajante kalevaram tang tam evaiti kauntaya sada tad bhava bhavita. Whatever we think of at the time of death, that brings us to the next body. This is not some sentiment. This is spiritual knowledge. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives spiritual knowledge. in some religious traditions, they say you just believe. You have to believe in Jesus, or you have to believe in Allah, or whatever. But Krishna doesn't say that. He teaches Arjuna, you try to understand with your intelligence, not just believe. Believe, then someone says believe this, someone says believe something else, someone else says believe something else, someone says Krishna is God, someone says Shiva is God, someone says Sai Baba is God, someone says Allah is God, someone says I am God, someone says everyone is God, someone says there is no God. Then how will you understand? That you have to understand by exercising proper intelligence and getting proper guidance. So Bhagavad Gita is the systematic knowledge by which we can understand who we are, who is God, what is our relationship with Him, why we are suffering in this world, how we can become free from suffering, and how we can attain to the spiritual world. That knowledge is there, and the practical application of that is Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means the yoga of devotion, linking with God, the Supreme, by devotion, by love. Love is the highest. The highest principle is love. Everyone is looking for love. When one dog barks louder than the others, he wants to dominate and get their attention. When a human tries to dominate others, he's also trying to get their attention, but it's all in a perverse way. Actually, we want others' love. But because our hearts are so cold and so closed, we can't open ourselves up to love others. We just want to dominate them, or use them, or exploit them. But actually, everyone wants love. And the central object of love is Krishna. Sometimes people question about Krishna's dancing with so many gopis. But that is not like some mundane person some mundane young boy dancing with mundane girls. Krishna is completely spiritual. And the gopis, they're also completely spiritual. And the exchange between them is an exchange of spiritual love. That means Krishna is trying to please the gopis, they are trying to please him. It's simply each wants to give to the other. So Bhakti Yoga means to develop the love in our heart that is natural for everyone, to love Krishna, to redevelop that. It is not simply some blind sentiment. By blind sentiment, we can easily be misled. But Krishna, He doesn't ask us to simply follow out of blind sentiment. He explains each point so that Arjuna can understand and act with his intelligence. That's why we find in Bhagavad Gita, again and again the term is used, Buddhi Yoga, the yoga of intelligence. So this Bhakti Yoga, it is easy to perform. Easy means the beginning is simply to chant the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very easy. Even a child can do it. You don't have to be a great yogi or a great pandit You don't have to be born in a Brahmin family. I'm definitely not born in a Brahmin family. Though your forefathers would have been shocked that Indians could sit and listen to a religious discourse given by on Bhagavad Gita, given by an Englishman. They would be shocked. They would think that is adharma. But actually it's not. Because the Atma is not English or Indian or Brahmin or Shudra or from Telangana or Andhra Pradesh. The Atma is free from all these designations. So anyone can take up this Bhakti Yoga in any position. And whatever position we're in, we may be already stuck in some groove that I have a job, I have loans to pay off, I have family, so our course of life is already set, but we can add the practice of Bhakti Yoga by chanting Hare Krishna. There are other things to follow also. We should offer all our food to Krishna. We don't just eat anything here and there. This Chinese food stall, if everyone takes this up, that will have to close down unless they offer it all to Krishna. But I think many of the things they cook are not offerable to Krishna. One has to act in a way to purify his life. That would also mean unless the television programs are changed a lot, then we're not going to be watching television, because television is mostly promoting Kam, Krodh and Lobh. By watching the television, our consciousness becomes polluted. So there are some things to do and some things not to do. It means changing our life for the better, in the best possible way. Your life may be successful. I suppose that most of you here are considered successful in society, middle class, earning sufficient money. But that's not enough. Simply to have a job and earn money and speak English, that's also considered something prestigious, although the way it's going, everyone in India will be speaking English in 1 or 2 generations, and no one will know Telugu or Tamil or these languages. They'll be relegated to the past. So everyone here is materially to a large extent fulfilled. Maybe not as much as you dream. Maybe you dream about being as rich as Bill Gates or as famous as Sachin Tendulkar or something like that. But more or less everyone, your basic needs are well taken care of. So now you can think about your spiritual needs. Of course, you may say, well, in the morning I do a little puja and I send my children to learn bhajans. That's all right, that's good. But is that enough to lift us beyond birth and death? There has to be some intensity there. There has to be some real attachment to Krishna. If we're not attached to Krishna, then we'll remain attached to the illusory pleasures of this world. And then we have to take birth again and again in this world. So Bhakti Yoga is the process that will lift us out of this material world. There are other processes also. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. There's so many. These are the best known processes of yoga. But in Kali Yoga especially, the process which we can very easily fulfill and perfect is this process of Bhakti Yoga centered on chanting the holy names of Krishna. So I won't take more of your time now unless you have more questions. Thank you so much for so patiently listening. I very much appreciate that. In the age of the TV, mostly people, they don't even like to listen to such discourses. And if they do, their mind is so agitated by watching TV where the screen changes every second. And so people generally don't have much patience to sit and listen to actually I wouldn't say it was so much a religious discourse as a philosophical discourse. Of course, the philosophy that comes to its perfection in religion. So thank you so much for listening so patiently. And now, if anyone has any questions they would like to put to me, I will try to answer to the best of my ability as I have learned from my Sri Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada. So do we have this other mic? Do we have another microphone? Yeah, so if you would like to ask a question, then what? We bring the mic to you, is it? Or they'll come to the front and use it. Hare Krishna. Please speak directly into the mic.
Yeah. So my question is, can you explain what is the meaning of back to Godhead?
What is the meaning of what?
Back to Godhead.
Back to Godhead.
So what we did with Krishna earlier, and we came here, and we have to struggle again to go back. So went back to working there, we came here, and we are trying hard to go back, and there is a possibility that after going back, we come down.
Back to Godhead is the name of the magazine of the International Hare Krishna movement. It is a phrase that our Guru and his Guru often used, and it gives the sense that we were with Krishna and we have come to this material world and that we have to go back. To go back means we were there. There's no meaning to going back unless we were there. So I've never been to China, not to the People's Republic of China. I've been to Taiwan, but I've never been to the communist or China. So if I say I'm going back to China, it doesn't mean anything because I'm never there before. So back to Godhead means to go back to Krishna. Our original position is in the service of Krishna. And in this world, those who are intelligent, they endeavor to go back to the spiritual world, back to Krishna. Having gone there, is there a chance of again coming back here? Well, theoretically, because every living being is given some minute independence by Krishna. Minute. We don't have much independence. For instance, we didn't choose where we were born in this lifetime or what kind of body we got. But we have a little independence. We can choose to serve Krishna or not serve Krishna. If we fully serve Krishna, then we can go to Krishna in the spiritual world. Theoretically, there's always the possibility of again misusing that independence. But the general condition is, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yadgadva nanivartante tadhama paramamama. One who goes there doesn't come back. One who goes to Krishna's abode does not come back. So any other question?
Again, I have a question like, what is the difference between Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga? You see, Karma Yoga, when we say that it's about Vedaya and the Bhakti, so it's like all about karma. So why can't we perform using our karma, right? So we can devote this time to the Bhakti Yoga, right? Why can't
Definitions of Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Well, definitely there's a difference. Otherwise, there wouldn't be the two different terms, isn't it? There must be some difference. Karma Yoga is not exactly the same as karma. Many people say, I'm doing Karma Yoga, but actually they're just doing karma. Everyone has to do some karma, as stated by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Nahi kaschit shanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krit. At every moment, everyone has to do something. But when one offers the results of one's work for a higher cause, that is called Karma Yoga. When one is not attached to the results of the work. There's a well-known verse also you quoted, Yada yada hi dharmasya. So another well-known verse is Karmanya vadhikaraste ma paleshu kadachana. Ma karma falahetu bun mate karma. What is it? Mate sangosva karmane. Krishna says that you have a right to work, but you should not be attached to the fruits of the work. So when one works, but is not attached to the fruit of the work, and offers that for a higher cause, that is called Karma Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means to offer one's life in the service of Krishna, including one's work, but centered on the mind. Manmana bhavamad bhaktaha. Krishna says, always think of me and become my devotee. Ananya cheta satatam, he says. He refers to those whose mind is always undeviatingly fixed on him. So one whose intention is to please Krishna, he is a Bhakti yogi. One whose intention is to work and not be attached to the fruit of work, that is a Karma yogi. He's more concerned with the work than with devotion. So it can be a subtle difference, because in bhakti there's also karma. For instance, singing Hare Krishna, that's also one kind of activity or karma. But it's not karma in the sense that it produces a material result. All these points are discussed in Bhagavad Gita. You please study this Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is the world's most popular edition of Bhagavad Gita. Maybe you know, about 2 years ago, some court in Russia wanted to ban this edition of Bhagavad Gita. Particularly this edition, because they thought it was too spiritual for them. हरे कृष्ण। जी हाँ।
भक्ति योगा और कर्म योगा में डिफरेंस क्या है? आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड।
ऐसा बोला कि वो अंतर सूक्ष्म है, सूक्ष्म हो सकते। कर्म योग में वो कर्म योगी का ध्यान वो काम के ऊपर है, वो काम करते हैं और वो फल भगवान को अर्पण करते हैं या किसी पुण्य कर्म में अर्पण करते हैं। और भक्ति योग में वो भक्ति योगी का ध्यान है कृष्ण, वो सब कुछ कहते हैं केवल श्री कृष्ण की प्रसन्नता के लिए। तो काम भी करते हैं, भक्ति योगी काम भी करते हैं, परंतु वो काम करने का उद्देश्य है कृष्ण का सुख, कृष्ण की प्रीति। और कर्म योगी वो काम करते हैं और उनका ध्यान है कि मुझे अच्छी तरह काम करना और उसका फल मैं भगवान को अर्पण करूंगा या किसी अच्छा पुण्य कर्म में मैं अर्पण करूंगा। तो भक्ति योग में भक्ति योगी का ध्यान का केंद्र बिंदु है कृष्ण।
और भक्ति योग में खाली चांटिंग हरे राम हरे कृष्ण या नहीं आदत की बात है?
नहीं, और बहुत कुछ होता है। यदि आप केवल हरे कृष्ण कहेंगे तो आप केवल वो कीर्तन करने से पूरी सिद्धि मिल सकती। फिर भी 9 मुख्य प्रकार की भक्ति है। श्रवणम, कीर्तनम, विष्णु स्मरणम, पाद सेवनम, अर्चनम, वंदनम, दास्यम, सख्यम, आत्मनिवेदनम। 9 मुख्य प्रकार की भक्ति योजना है। श्रवण, जैसे आप अभी भगवत भक्ति के बारे में श्रवण करते हैं, तो ये एक प्रकार की भक्ति है। कीर्तन, नाम कीर्तन है, हरे कृष्ण गाना, गोपाल गोविंद राम। और भगवान की लीला के बारे में कथा कहना, वो भी कीर्तन है। भगवान के दिव्य गुणों का वर्णन करना, वो गुण कीर्तन है। इस प्रकार नाम कीर्तन है, गुण कीर्तन है, लीला कीर्तन है। तो ये सब कीर्तन है। श्रवणम कीर्तनम, विष्णु स्मरणम, सदैव भगवान विष्णु का स्मरण करना, वो भी भक्ति का एक अंग है। उसको ये 9 प्रकार की भक्ति अंग बोलते हैं। विष्णु स्मरणम, पाद सेवन, जैसे लक्ष्मी देवी भगवान विष्णु के चरणों का मर्दन मालिश करते हैं। और इस भौतिक संसार में पाद सेवन कैसे करना है? तीर्थ यात्रा करना और साधु सेवा करना, ये सब पाद सेवन बोलते हैं। अर्चन, भगवान का अर्चन करना, पूजा विधि, वो सब अर्चन है। वंदनम मतलब प्रार्थना, स्तुति स्तोत्र पाठ करना, ये भी भक्ति है। दास्यम, कि मैं भगवान का दास हूं, इस प्रकार आत्म परिचय करना, ऐसे सोचना, सदैव ऐसे सोचना मैं भगवान का दास हूं। उदास्य बोलते हैं, सख्यम में भगवान का दोस्त हूं, ऐसे सोचना। और आत्मनिवेदन, पूरा आत्मसमर्पण, तो ये सब भक्ति है। और ये 9 मुख्य प्रकार की भक्ति में और बहुत बहुत प्रकार की योजना है, कार्य है जिससे भक्ति करने हैं। जैसे मंदिर का फर्श सफाई करना, और मंदिर निर्माण करने के लिए कुछ दान देना, तो ये सब भक्ति है। मुख्य है मन। यदि हम पैसे देते मंदिर बनाने के लिए, लेकिन हमारा उद्देश्य है कि दूसरे लोग मुझको प्रशंसा करेंगे, ओ कितने सारे पैसे दे, तो वो तो भक्ति नहीं है। सब कुछ श्री कृष्णाय अर्पणमस्तु, सब कुछ श्री कृष्ण की प्रसन्नता के लिए करना चाहिए, वो भक्ति है। हमारा उद्देश्य कृष्ण भगवान की, कृष्ण भगवान संतुष्ट होंगे, वो हमारा उद्देश्य होना चाहिए, वो भक्ति है। Yes, anything else? तो आप कीजिए, आप श्रवण कीजिए या कीर्तन कीजिए या स्मरण वंदनम आप कीजिए, या सब श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण सब कीजिए, जैसे तैसे भक्ति करो, आपका परम कल्याण हो जाएगा इस प्रकार। So, Hare Krishna. Another kind of bhakti is honoring Krishna Prasadam. And although on Ekadashi, one kind of bhakti is also fasting on Ekadashi. Today is Ekadashi. So, you can fast or you can take prasad offered to Krishna. It's called, we've prepared today, Anukalpa. Anukalpa means Krishna prasad prepared without any grains. That's called Anukalpa. So you can please take that. And we'll have a little kirtan first. Books we want to announce.
Hare Krishna. This is all the please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare